Are you listening?
Welcome to the Nerf Report. My name is Bryant. And when it comes to games that have launched on Google Stadia this year, very few have caught my attention as the latest timed exclusive Young Souls did. And for today's show, we have a special treat as we have the privilege of sitting down with the creators.
We started the game in 2016, and when we started, 2D beat 'em up were not as trendy as they are today. And but there was Dragon's Crown, who had a huge success at this period. So we thought about, well, let's try to make a Dragon's Crown.
And during the development, Sekiro was released, and it became a great inspiration because at the base we thought a lot about Dark Souls. So we've put a lot of different small mechanics from Dark Souls, and we wanted it to be more action-oriented than Dark Souls.
Jerome and Baptiste, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Welcome to the Nerf Report. What has the launch been like for you guys since the game has kind of came out and people are now getting to play it?
Well, it's been amazing so far because we have a lot of feedbacks from all the players, and it's been really on a big adventure to develop this game. So we've been working on it since like 5 years ago. So it's great to have all these great feedbacks from the players.
You know, we kind of talked about it before we hit record, but Young Souls is awesome. Like, I don't think there's any other way to kind of put it. When you create the game, kind of what's the inspiration for something like this?
In fact, we have many different inspirations. Young Souls was our first game, in fact, our first independent game. We worked in different companies before creating 1P2P, but it was our first. When you make your first game, you want to put everything on it. You want to put everything you like, every inspiration you have. You want to mix everything. So Young Souls is that kind of game, in fact, for us. Our first motivation, in fact, was to make a game with a good fighting system. We started the game in 2016. And when we started, 2D beat 'em up were not as trendy as they are today. And but there was Dragon's Crown, who had a huge success at this period. So we thought about, well, let's try to make a Dragon's Crown with our personal what we really like in the game. So let's try to make a Dragon's Crown, and that's how it started. In fact, in the Dragon's Crown, and that's how it started. So. For the fighting system, we get inspired by many different games, but almost by 3D beat 'em up, like Bayonetta, like Sekiro, also.
Yeah. In fact, the basics were more in the kind of Bayonetta and all the other beat 'em all in 3D. And during the development, Sekiro was released, and it became a great inspiration because at the base we thought a lot about Dark Souls. So we've put a lot of different small mechanics from Dark Souls, and we wanted it to be more action-oriented than Dark Souls. And in the meantime, they released Sekiro, which had a lot of these common points, and we also studied it and played it and really enjoyed it. So it became a great inspiration, especially for all the boss fights and the boss structure of the game.
One thing that did stand out was kind of the art style of this game. Where did that come from?
Yeah, we like this kind of style, and we've been working in other companies that have this style in their DNA, especially Ankama. And so we've been working with artists from this company. And but I think it's really just our natural style. It's by mixing the different elements of different artists we've been working with that we came to this artistic direction.
We spent a lot of time for the art style. We thought it was really important at the beginning when we start the game to have a really catchy art style. So we spent almost like 1.5 years just searching about what could be the perfect art style for the game. And at the beginning, we wanted to make a 2D game, a fully 2D game. And so we worked with Mojo, who is a talented background artist, and he made amazing 2D backgrounds. And we tried to put them on the game, but it felt a bit too flat for us. So we said, let's try to put it on 3D and see what it looks like we at this moment we have never made 3D, so we tried to put one environment in 3D and put the 2D characters on it. Try to have 2D characters that looks like 3D, like they made in the the old Disney's. They try to integrate their 2D characters in very complex environments. That's what we tried to make in our little scale, in fact, but we tried to integrate the best as possible 2D characters in a 3D environment. That's what gives that special looks to Young Souls.
The art style is one of the things that I took from the game, and at times I had to kind of pinch myself in a way to be like, I'm playing a video game. You know, it blended that line between almost cinematic and gaming. So bravo to you guys. I mean, even just the transition scenes where the cinematic bars come down and you see him running upstairs or driving. It was such a cool touch and an addition to the game that really brought Young Souls to the next level in my book. Now, if we could change the subject a little bit, what does it feel like to knock it out of the park? To hit a home run, if you say, on your first game? Because when I heard that this was your first game, guys, and I hope you don't think that this is lip service, but I was blown away. I thought this would have came from a studio who had been working on games for like 30 to 40 years, not your first game.
Well, actually, it's our first independent game, but we've been working together since for like 15 years. I guess,
yeah, for a decade before we started 1P2P, in fact.
Yeah, we worked on a lot of different types of games, you know, anything like survival horror, rhythm games, a lot of different games. So it's not really our first game per se, but it's our first independent game that we make with just our small studio, with just the two of us plus a few freelancers. So yeah, thank you if you think that we've succeeded to make a good game. Yeah, actually, it's quite amazing. As I said before, it's great to see all these cool feedbacks because we don't have a lot of players' feedback. We didn't make a lot of tests before, so it's great to see all these reviews and see that yeah, actually the game is quite fun because when we are quite alone in our cave, you know, developing the game, we don't know if it's good or not, and we are just in doubt, you know, for like 5 years. So it's good to have these read all these cool comments in the game. So yeah.
What made the two of you want to get into gaming?
Personally, I didn't really think about not working in the video game industry. So it's more like
for
that.
me.
Yeah, so it was really my goal since I was a kid. So yeah, just yeah, it's a passion. I really wanted to create video games since I was a kid, and yeah.
For me, it came with I don't know if in the US it's called a Master System in the US also or not.
Unfortunately, I was a Nintendo kid growing up, so I never got to have the Segas. Yeah,
it was my first console, and the first game that really blown me was Mikey Castle of Illusion. I really loved that game. Before that game, I was not in video games, and what that game just released, and I played it, and I definitely dive into the video games. And at this exact moment, I said that I wanted to work and I wanted to create video games. So yeah, I think it's a game that made me dive in the video game industry and my totem game, in fact, yeah.
Young Souls is out right now as a timed exclusive on Google Stadia. I'm interested, how did your guys' relationship with Google start? Did you meet them at a convention, or did you submit your game, or how did this relationship begin?
In fact, the deal has been made with the Arcade Crew, which is our publisher, and it's the Arcade Crew who has been approached by Google, and we just validate the deal, in fact. But the deal was made years ago now. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember. Stadia wasn't officially announced at this moment. It was just a project, and Google was searching for cool indies to add to their catalog. So yeah, it was. In fact, it was the kind of deal you cannot refuse because it really helped our development. And it really makes the game, it really helped us to make the best game possible. I think if we hadn't that contract with Google, we would probably release the game earlier, because earlier and I think in a worse shape than it is today. So
Of course,
it gave us
maybe like 1 year ago or something like that.
Yeah. So Google really gave us time and serenity to finish the game. That's really important. In fact, when you develop a game, when you are an indie, having time and doing it really smoothly is really important. So that's what the deal with Google gave us, in fact. So yeah, we are happy to give that exclusivity to Stadia, even if the platform is not exactly what we expected at the beginning, but we're happy with that.
Yeah, it's interesting. We have a lot of indie developers come on the show, and recently we just interviewed Big Village Games, who's doing Merrick's Market. And one of the things that they mentioned was they were part of the Stadia Makers program, and because of that extra funding, to what you were saying, they were able to kind of professionalize or add more to the game, add voice acting, things that they weren't able to do before. So it's interesting to hear that partnership kind of allowed you guys to polish the game and kind of breathe life into the masterpiece that you guys have released.
I think it's not exclusive to Google, but when you have that kind of deal, it really gives you comfort. In fact, just comfort to finish your game, to polish it, as you said. And I think we could have released a bad game. In fact, if we hadn't take the time to have some feedbacks, to think about what could improve our game, etc. And sometimes you have some games that are released and that are judged to be bad, but maybe behind that game you have that kind of story, the game that has been rushed and not enough polished, and could have been a really good game, but just didn't have the elements and the time to be well finished. So.
Yeah, we were quite lucky to have this deal, because it allowed us to make a lot of polish, especially since last year, I guess, because the game was nearly complete. But by testing it, we understood that it had a lot of different issues here and there, and we worked a lot on the game structure and a lot of different things. Some features really popped like in the last months of the development. So yeah. We really needed this time to finish it properly.
We also have a publisher, so that comfort we already had it. So we are really lucky, in fact, because we had both. In fact, we had the contract and we had the publisher. So I don't think we could have released such a game just as indies, in fact. So pretty important.
A question we always like to ask developers, especially indie developers, because there's that special moment that you've been working on a game, as you mentioned, for years, and it finally goes live. What is that moment like? Where do you find yourself? Are you at a pub drinking, or are you drinking wine? Are you celebrating, or are you thinking, oh my gosh, I hope the gamers don't find that little hiccup that we know about? Or what did you guys do on launch day?
I will speak for myself, but I think it's a bit the same for Jerome. But I didn't look at any social media or thing like that before some days after release, because actually I was moving out to another place. So I was really busy with other life stuff. But I think it's like it's a good way to escape the stress of the release day. And Jerome also was in holidays.
But you imagine during the whole development, especially when it lasts 5 years, you imagine that at the release it will be your biggest party ever. You will be drunk and you will be dancing on tables. But in fact, when the game is out, you're just so stressed, and the development is not finished. In fact, we always have bugs to fix. We have crashes on Stadia. We have many different things to manage. So it's not totally finished. So you're not in the mood that, okay, I gave my copy and it's finished. No, the job is not finished, so you're not in that kind of mood. I think we will be maybe during at the end of the year, if we succeed to release all the versions and everything is fine. I think we will realize at this moment, but today we are still on the development mood, so we are not really on this, fiesta mood, in fact.
You kind of mentioned a little bit of kind of the development process after. What's the future for Young Souls? I mean, is this the type of franchise where we could see sequels or a trilogy from this game? I know for one thing that I thought, I was like, man, this would make a great graphic novel. Are you guys even thinking about stuff like that?
Yeah, we always think about stuff like that, but it will really depend on the success of the game. But if it works, we will push it on many different directions. So yeah.
It really depends on how people receive the game and how people. If people want to have some extensions to the universe, we will do it. That's for sure.
Maybe a TV show on Netflix, some small stuff like that. No, it really depends on how well it will be received. So yeah.
I think it's just a testament to the world that you guys have built, that you could take that franchise and put it in like a Netflix TV show. Like you said, it would be fun. I would love that show. Well, gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. If people want to find more about this game, where should they go?
You can find us mostly on Twitter. We are the most active, but you can follow the Arcade Crew. Social media, we are on everything, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. So the Arcade Crew is mostly the best way to get informed about Young Souls, in fact, yeah.
Now, if you guys watching at home would like to hear more about Young Souls, definitely check out our coverage here on the Nerf Report, or head over to YouTube where you can check out all of the different trailers for the game. Young Souls is currently available right now for Google Stadia and will be coming to Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo in the fall of this year. Until next time, my name is Bryant, and this has been the Nerf Report. Thanks for watching. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you so much. Guys, this is legit one of my favorite games I've ever played. So, like I mentioned, I started playing it